Hey, hello YouTube, man. How you guys doing today? It is me again, your favorite Texas trucker, and I am at home doing a couple modifications on my truck. Hold on one second. The wind's blowing out here, and I don't have my damn hat on, so I got this long ass fucking hair going everywhere. I have to untangle this extension cord. I put it up last night. One of the problems that I'm having with my truck, and it's not really a problem with the truck, it's more of a problem with the accessories that I have in the truck, is that when I'm home for any longer than a day or so, then my battery runs dead. All right. The reason my battery runs dead is because I have a refrigerator and a cooler that I never unplug. I leave them plugged up all the time, and I usually come home and I run the truck for at least a couple hours a day to try to keep the batteries charged up. But when I'm home any more than 2 or 3 days, that doesn't really suffice. So an astute observer would ask, well, Mr. Neill, why don't you just unplug the damn refrigerator and the cooler? And if I was going to be home for any extended length of time, that is precisely what I would do. However, the problem with that is that it takes about 24 hours for my refrigerator to reach a cold temperature, and about the same amount of time for my cooler to reach a cold temperature. So when I unplug it, I'd have to take all of the food items that I have stored in my truck into the house, which isn't that big of a deal. A little bit of a pain in the ass, but nothing major. And then I would have to put everything back in the refrigerator and cooler when the cooler and refrigerator are not up to temperature, which means that it's a good possibility that some of the things could go bad. Hold on one second. I'll be right back. So I've tried various things to deal with the situation. However, none of them really seem to work all that well, because my refrigerator, the refrigerator's not designed for damn, I plugged the wrong damn thing in. My refrigerator's not designed for a truck. It's a dorm refrigerator, and because it's a dorm refrigerator, it pulls a little bit more, I think, than maybe a truck. But I don't know. Maybe it pulls the same. Heck, I don't know. But running the truck for a couple hours a day while I'm on home time simply does not charge the batteries enough for it to maintain while I'm home. And so it just that option just doesn't really work. All right. So what I've done, or what I'm going to do, and I'll show you here in just a couple of seconds, is hold on. Damn it. Drill's not tight enough. Bit started cutting through and it started slipping on me. Alright. Anyway, so what I'm doing is I'm doing a cheap Southern engineered version of shore power on my truck. Right. That's that. Let me go ahead and unplug this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of show you what I'm doing. pretty simple, really, honestly, when you sit down and you think about it. I may have to make that hole just a little bit bigger. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to make that hole bigger. Let me go ahead and do that. The thing is what I need is I need my battery to stay charged up, and I need to be able to keep my refrigerator on. All right. That's what I need to do. And so I need to develop a way to do that on a budget. Now, I probably could have gone to Kenworth and had Kenworth do it for me. And I probably could have gone to Truck Pro and gotten a kit that was designed specifically for that. Now, I do have charging posts, so I know somebody's going to suggest that I just add charging posts to my battery, and that would accomplish basically the same thing. Well, I have those posts, but I don't have a drill bit that will drill through the frame where I need to mount it. Okay, and that drill bit runs about $40–50. The cables that I need for it are even more expensive than that. I'm having problems with this. Give me one more second. My drill, I've got this Black & Decker drill, just doesn't seem to want to tighten up enough to hold that. So, you know, I've always been the type of person that, that uses, when I was in the Army, they had a term called, or something they called, the field expedient method. The field expedient method, explained, was essentially whatever it took to complete the objective at hand. All right, and so for me, the objective is for the cheapest way possible, having a reliable power source that can power my batteries all the time, anytime that I need it. All right. When I was with Millis, I never had a need to get into my battery box, so I don't really know how difficult the project is. I don't know how difficult it is to get in the battery box with Millis. I'm assuming it's essentially the same issue. Let's take a look at this. This is what I have to go through every time I take this thing apart. All right, and it's a bit of a pain in the tail. So what I'm doing is I went out and I bought this 10 amp charger. That's just it's a relatively cheap charger, decent quality. I bought it from Napa, as you can see. It's a 10 amp charger, a 3 amp maintainer. So this will charge my batteries when my batteries are low, and then it'll maintain my batteries. I went and bought this yesterday because yesterday my truck wouldn't start. My truck was dead, and I brought it home and I hooked it up, and I went and picked up a load last night. It doesn't deliver until I drilled a hole through the floor right here so I could feed all this stuff through here, and then we'll insulate this wire probably with electrical tape and wedge that in there and then silicone it once it's in there. Let me turn this back around again. So I went and I bought this from Napa yesterday, and I brought it home and I hooked it up and it worked perfect. I charged my batteries up. When I was ready to leave to go pick up my load, it crunk right up. So I came home, I woke up today, and I took the clamp ends off and I added these on, okay, so that I can permanently attach it to my battery posts. All right, and that's what I'm fixing to do here in just a second. I need a 3/4 inch bit, or a 3/4 inch socket. At least I think this is a 3/4 inch, so of course not. I don't know where I got 3/4 inch from. Hold up. It's not a 5/8 either, it must be a 9/16. You know, as many times as I've gotten into this thing, I should have already known that. Anyway, it's a 9/16. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to permanently attach the charger to my battery posts. All right, and then I'm going to put everything back together once everything is permanently attached. When I took those cable ends off, I put shrink wrap around the negative terminal so that I wouldn't hook it up the wrong way. Okay, I've got that one back on, and let me take the positive terminal off. And we have the positive terminal back on. Now I'm going to tighten everything back down. All right. That's about as tight as I can get it. So what we've done now is we've attached the negative. The negative has the shrink wrap on it to the negative cable, positive to the positive cable, just as you would had it had clamps on it. And then I'm going to put all this here back together. All right. Once I get it back together, then I can feed as much of it up here as I need for here. And then what we're going to do is we are going to store this right in here in this little box. All right, this fits perfect, almost perfect, right inside there. And that's where we're going to store this at. All right, so we need just enough to be able to come through here. And then when I plug this in, which I'm going to test right now just to make sure, we should be charging my batteries again. So let's plug it in. Let's pull this out and look at it. All right, see, we have, it is charging, but we need to change to standard. All right, and now my batteries are being charged. So when I get home, we'll just stick this right back in the box. We're going to unplug it again here in a second. So when I get home from a run, all I have to do is take this, oh wow, y'all are looking at the roof up there. All I have to do is take this plug it into the extension cord that I keep in my truck, run it to my house over here, and my batteries will continue to be charged pretty much indefinitely. Anyway, I'm going to put all this back together again, and then I'm going to go in the house. I'm going to run around today and see if I can find a deck plate, and if I can, then I'll put another video on on doing that. I'm looking for some diamond plates, what I'm looking for. All right, man, y'all take care. Hope you enjoyed it. You know, it may not be the Kenworth way. You know, had Kenworth done this, they may have done it completely different, which is perfectly fine. But it is my way. All right. I try to say that I am a master at the field expedient method. I do whatever needs to be done to get it done in the cheapest, most efficient way possible. And that's the way that I try to stay on top. So I'm going to put all this back together again, and then I'm going to fix this hole that I made right here in my floor, and silicone all that up, and then we'll catch y'all later. Y'all take care, and peace out.